Hi, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, how to create effortless power by slowing your swing down. Now, let's be clear, we need speed in the club at impact, but three urges many golfers have to speed things up at the wrong moment that cost them speed through impact, and I'll give you drills to match. Okay, point number one. And by the way, when we're talking about smoothing the swing out, smooth is great, slow is not necessarily great in general. We want flow, but smoothness. So point number one, where people rush too much, they don't disassociate. So if you picture casting a fishing rod, has to be some spring there like that. Most golfers rip their arms down too quickly and cost themselves speed. Let me show you a quick view of a pro. We'll get out here and we'll work on this. So the inimitable Fred Couples there on the left, pro baseball player on the right. Now watch Fred, watch his hip versus that tree. See that move it makes? Do you see anything happening with the club? What you actually see happening with the club is it continues to go back for a split second. That stores fantastic amounts of power. You'll see this here again as he steps in. Watch the bat kind of go back as he's stepping forward. And then we're ready to deliver the power. So let's get out and work on that, see if we can find out how to slow that move down to actually speed impact up. So our point of contact with the club is our hands, arms, to some extent our shoulders and chest. People want to hit the ball farther, that's reasonable, but they take that and they try to create energy there and they actually cost themselves speed. So again, if you can let the hands and arms sit there for a split second as a baseball player would, you'll store a lot more energy so that the speed's there when you need it. So I'm going to suggest for you, you hit some shots where you feel ultra floppy and loose, where you have to use this in order to create any forward momentum. I mean, I really felt the club bouncing around and loose. And you have to start to get used to that sense that the last thing you want to do as you start down is add energy and speed up here at the top if you're really going to hit the ball a long way. Let's check out key number two from here. Next one, when you start your downswing, if it's a reasonable backswing, the club head is somewhat behind you. People rush to get that thing back over here where the ball is. The more you can keep that club head behind you, the more you're storing power and it will have a lot more speed at the bottom. My old boss, David Leadbetter, used to have the image. If you're looking down upon a water skier, if he's here or she and the boat turns momentarily, that skier stays in place, then it whips around. And the idea is if that thing stays here and you get a little bit of body movement, it will whip around. Let me show you a pro in action, then we'll give you a drill. So we'll split two sports again. Charles Howell about to bomb another driver out there. There's Roger Federer on the left. And let's have a look at this backhand here. If you like this video, or these videos, I hope you'll subscribe, give a like or whatever. And here he goes, and as he steps forward, there go the hips. Watch the racket actually get behind him more. And then there's going to be more speed right there when he needs it. Here comes Charles. Watch the golf club location there. It's on a good plane, but watch it almost work behind him a bit more as he unwinds there. And that really stores energy for that thing to whip around there at the bottom. ScratchGolfAcademy.com have full video courses, and AdamBGolf.com is my teaching website. Okay, in this drill, we call it the 45-degree drill. If that's the target line, give or take, this would be, let's say, 45 degrees to that. I'm going to make a 3/4 backswing. I recommend you use a tee for this drill. I don't happen to have one in my pocket, so I'm not going to use one. But we'll get back to about here. And with a little bump of my hips, not something violent, but a little bit of that, I'm going to let that club literally work behind me, let my arms fall a little bit so it's more at 45 degrees. Couple of pumps there, and then with just a little bit of movement here, that club's going to make a really quick circle around me, much like the skier in the water ski analogy there. So I think you find that pretty helpful. It's a very different feel for most people to have the club that far behind them that late in the downswing. Now, our third and final way to create effortless power by quote-unquote slowing your swing down. We'll have a look at the pro first, then we'll get at it. It's more around impact. So Fred Couples on the left, a young Rory McIlroy on the right. Let's have a look then. So what's this third way we need to slow down? Now, there's no question, the faster you move your hips, as you see Fred do it there, you can store tremendous power if you do that, if you can disassociate your hips from the rest of it, but you have to hit the brakes a bit down near impact to have that energy transfer out to the club. So watch Fred through impact. Lots of movement there. Watch his body, his left leg and hip. Pretty stable there as the club cracks like a whip. Look at the stripes on his shirt. So momentarily he's pretty stable. The whip cracks and all that energy brings him back around. Rory McIlroy, fantastic. There's all that hip movement. That stores the power. The club's behind it. But now watch through impact. Watch his shorts. Watch them stabilize there so he can snap the whip. So here's the drill we'll use. Short iron, I'm using an 8 iron. You might want to use a tee, I'm not, but wedge the front foot in, wedge that lead foot in this way. It will provide a great deal of resistance. Just if you have an artificial knee or some sort of hip issue, test run this before you do this. Now, I'm not going to swing very hard, but you will find that provides a tremendous resistance there that you're not probably used to. As I say, just make sure that's not hurting you physically before you try it. So here comes the foot wedged in. Get a little feel here. Oh, I could really feel the resistance there and how the club released well. You start to get a little bit of snap in the club, assuming you've done a good job loading it, of course, keeping it back here where you're storing power. And if you do these things, if you get the slow parts in the right places, you'll get more club head speed where you need it. Let's show you a slow motion swing so you can sort of see it all in order, hopefully, if I can make a good swing. Thanks for watching.
So there we go. You'll notice the lower body leading. You'll see the stretch in the left shoulder and arm as the arms stay fairly steady. Notice the club staying behind me fairly well there in the early part of the downswing, and then through impact, watch that left side stabilize the left leg and the club starts to snap a bit like a whip. So these things aren't too difficult if you'll just pace yourself and practice them, and you can really create a smoother feeling swing, one if you like that's slower, to add speed where you need it.